You are listening to the Maple Footy Podcast, the unofficial football podcast of the North. I'm your host, Sam Little. Find me on socials at SamLittle44 and the podcast at Maple Footy Pod. And now there's nothing left to say except for sit back, enjoy, and welcome to the show.
Hello, yes, welcome back to the Maple Footy Podcast, and very excited for this one, of course, because we do have Forge FC's Ben Paton on the podcast today. I'm so excited for it, but just a very quick update on this week. Since Canada are playing in the CONCACAF Nations League against Mexico tonight, the night that this is dropping, definitely watch that if you can. I'm really hoping for big things in that game, hoping to see Canada make it to the final. I think that would be amazing. And there will be a podcast recap of that game, whether we win or whether we lose. And then, of course, if we win, we go on to the final. And if we lose, there's a third place game. Regardless, I will also be covering those. So definitely check the channel or wherever you get your podcast, wherever you're listening to this from. And without any further ado, I just want to say a massive thank you to Ben Paton and Forge for letting me do this. It was really cool. I think it's a great conversation. So let's get into it. Hello, welcome back to the Maple Footy Podcast, and sitting with me today is one of Forge FC's newest recruits. He has played for Ross County as well as came through the Blackburn Rovers Academy. His name is Ben Paton, and I'm so thankful to have him here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much, and thank you for putting the time aside to do this. I do seriously appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, no worries at all.
And yeah, so let's get into this. Starting kind of looking back at the start of your career, how does a 15-year-old kid from Kitchener get the call or the chance to go play in the Blackburn Rovers Academy, especially like pre-CPL and everything like that?
Yeah, it kind of started like I was playing locally just here in Kitchener, and I was lucky enough to have the chance to kind of get some trials over in the UK. Ended up going to Aston Villa, Reading, and then Blackburn Rovers, and ended up signing there for a 2-year scholar, and then just ended up from 2-year scholar to being there for around 6 years.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So you did a couple of rounds then with Villa, and then, of course, landing at Blackburn. Was it something in particular that stuck out with Blackburn that made you want to like start there, or was it just best fit, best kind of possible situation?
I felt like it was kind of like a good fit. They were like a really good like family run club, like very welcoming, and I got along well with all the players. So I think it was like kind of a easy, like, like just I enjoyed it. So like my week there, I was really enjoyed it. So it was,
That's pretty cool, and especially because Blackburn have a pretty good history behind them too. So it's got to kind of feel like, oh wow, like kind of. This is pretty cool to be sitting here because they've won of course, a little while ago, but have won the Premier League all those years ago and have a pretty good fan base too. So it's got to be pretty sick to get to go and do that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, when I seen obviously like I used to watch like the Premier League growing up, and you always seen Blackburn as well. So like they have a good history for sure.
Yeah. And then sticking with the traveling and everything, what was it like being so young, traveling to England and adapting to such a different soccer/football and culture?
Yeah, at first it was obviously different. Like I was traveling a lot on my own, especially at that young. But I feel like it kind of made me grow up like quite fast. So I was able to like adapt and just enjoyed it really. Like enjoyed the experience. Like I feel like not many people are able to do that at 15. Traveling, getting like connecting flights from London to Manchester all the time. So yeah, I just kind of enjoyed it. And just
That's pretty cool. And did you find yourself like feeling like a little bit homesick at times because you were so young, or was it kind of just like you fit in and kind of just went about playing your football and stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Like definitely like the first week was always tough, like coming back to the UK, like missing home, like after you're being home and then not like being away for so long. But once we got like back into the routine of playing every week and just, doing everything, like doing what you love, you kind of just quickly just like get out of it. So it was always like the first week, I'd say it was kind of tough.
Fair, but it does make it like that little bit, I guess, easier in a sense that you get to follow this dream and chase this dream that you've been
Yeah.
working so hard for, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And then moving into your kind of Ross County days, Ross County is, of course, home to one of the smallest stadiums in top flight football over there, Victoria Park. What's it like getting to play in such a small and intimate but passionate atmosphere?
Yeah, it's a lot different. Like going across the country, like you play at all the stadiums. So being at home at Ross County, it was a lot different. Like the fans are all like locally there, like up in the Highlands. So it was a very different experience. But like again, like the fans were like able to get to some of the games, like away games, and most of them would be like 3 hours away. So for them to manage to get to all the games, like it's pretty impressive.
Pretty cool. No, because I just see, like, I was watching obviously some like highlight and whatnot, and just seeing how like intimate that stadium was. It kind of reminds me of like Bournemouth in the Premier League, but even like, smaller than that. And I think that's just so cool, and it kind of lends itself to like a unique atmosphere, I would imagine.
Yeah, when it's full, it's really good atmosphere. I remember we had Celtic in the cup, and there's like flares going off and everything, and
oh wow,
it was crazy. You couldn't even see it. You couldn't see the field. It's just like fog.
Really? Does that make it hard? I've always wondered, like, does that make it harder to play? Because you see the fog, and like even with TFC and whatnot, like you sometimes see like people like lighting flares and fog and whatnot. Does that make it like harder to play?
Not really. I feel like on the field is fine, but just like from the outside, maybe like it looks like it's like you can't see, but on the field it's all right.
Fair. And then you kind of did already mention Celtic, but you have played at Celtic Park, which holds 60,000 people. What is that atmosphere like? Like getting to play in one of like a stadium against a club of that stature?
Yeah, that was insane. Like even just the first initial bit of coming out of the tunnel to start the game off, you just get goosebumps.
Yeah.
But the other thing is just like I remember like my brother. I was actually playing with my brother at the time on the same team, and he was like not even like maybe 5-10 yards away from me, and I'm like yelling at him, and he couldn't hear me.
Really?
It's just it's crazy. Like you don't realize how loud the actual atmosphere is until you're there.
Oh wow, yeah, because that's another thing I've always like been curious about is like how do you guys communicate on the pitch when it's like that loud and just that passionate? Like how does the team like actually like function on the pitch?
Yeah, you try your best to yell as much as you can, but I feel like it's just mostly just hand signals, and like it's mostly as well like the gaffer before the game is like you got his tactical. Like we kind of know what to do before the game because when it's like that type of atmosphere, like there's not much you can really shout on. It's just you got to know your role.
Fair. And you did mention playing pro with your brother, so I wanted to jump into this question. Playing professionally with your brother, how cool is that? Going pro is obviously like it's a challenge in and of itself, but then both of you coming from the same family, quite literally, and then playing in the same team in Scotland, like, just can you tell us like what that's like?
Yeah, it was pretty insane. Like growing up, like my brother and I always dreamed, obviously, of playing professionally, but never thought about like playing on the same team.
Yeah,
it's just pretty surreal. But yeah, it was just honestly like really nice. I remember like in the Celtic game as well. Like I was just like kind of zoned out. Tried my best to zone out like the fans and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just remember at one point I just looking up and then looked forward and my brother's right there. So it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, because that's especially like here in Canada, obviously, and then you go all the way to Scotland still, and then still with your brother. That's so. And how long did you guys play together for? Because I know that he had left, and he plays for Motherwell now, if I'm not mistaken. How long did you guys play for together?
It was about like a year, I'd say. Okay. And then he went to Motherwell, but it was unfortunate because like we were gonna probably play each other that year, but then I got injured. Unfortunately, but that would have been interesting. I was saying like I don't know who my family was going to support in those games.
they root for you both to get like a goal and a draw, I guess.
Yeah.
And speaking of that injury, and obviously an ACL injury is pretty not the best, obviously. Yeah. When that ACL injury happens, did you know immediately how bad it was? Because I've seen different pros talk about at first they didn't think it was too bad, and then some others they knew immediately. What was your overall feeling like when it like first initially happened?
Yeah, first initially done it in training, just like on the Friday, like just before a game. And initially I knew something like was bad. Mm-hmm. And I got the scan straight away, and then it turned out like my ACL was actually like 50% torn.
Okay.
So it was kind of honestly tough because it was almost like 50% like needing surgery or like 50% not needing surgery. And I actually like managed to play on for a couple months.
Oh, wow.
With that, and then it ended up just fully going. So, and then the second time, I knew it was bad, for sure.
Yeah, no, and who kind of makes that choice for you to continue playing on? Is that your choice, or is that like you're consulting like every possible doctor to see if you can continue playing, kind of thing?
Yeah, I did see some I did some consultations, and that was kind of their opinion. And I felt like not bad, so I thought I might as well just try it out, because with ACL, if it goes, it goes. It's not like
Yeah.
So I thought I might as well try it, but I probably in hindsight should have just got the surgery done. But
Yeah, but live and learn, right? And I mean, no one can know, just what can happen, right? But I mean, I can't believe that you played on it for a few months. That's crazy.
In the Scottish Premier League as well. That's pretty crazy.
yeah, the Scottish Premier League, known for being hard hitting, and you're going out there with like a 50% torn ACL.
Yeah.
That's absurd. That's wow. And since we're on the topic of the injury, is every little milestone you get during the rehab process more fuel to wanting to get back even better than ever and quicker than ever?
Yeah, for sure. Like the initial bit is horrible. Like for me, it was like the first 6 weeks is just in bed, couldn't put any weight on my leg.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like little milestones, like being able to like put pressure on it and be able to walk again. And then just slowly, gradually, like each day was obviously a battle, but it was a good feeling, like the first time running and actually getting to play football again.
Yeah. And I could imagine like that first time kind of getting to get back onto the grass. That's got to feel like, okay, good. Like we're kind of back, kind of thing. Like still some work to do, obviously, but that initial like stepping foot back onto the green, like how's that feeling? Like what's going through your head at that moment?
I was honestly just buzzing. Like,
yeah,
it was such a good feeling, like out for so long and with like all the setbacks and everything. And then to finally be back, like fully playing, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It's almost like you forget like the feeling.
Yeah, I could imagine, especially because you were out for like a while and then coming back to a new club with Forge and everything, and then getting to have that moment of stepping back onto the pitch going, okay, great, I'm here again, kind of thing.
Back,
yeah. And do you think that it speaks to your desire, motivation, and passion for the sport that you not only injure your ACL, but then you're out of contract at Ross County, and then to be so determined to fight your way back and get back to now playing with Forge? Do you think that kind of speaks to the kind of player and the person that you are to this game?
Yeah, for sure. Like I feel like I'm always been driven to, do my best in everything and try and reach the highest level I can.
Mm-hmm.
I've had loads of setbacks, like my ACL, and I actually was in Ireland just after that and was going to sign for a team there.
Yeah.
Tore my hip flexor.
Oh my God.
That's why I was even longer rehab. And then they managed to come back from that. And then so I feel like I've had so many setbacks, and the fact that I'm still like willing to just keep going, I feel like it shows that I've got a good mindset.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, especially because coming back from an ACL, and I didn't know that you did your hip flexor as well.
Yeah.
Kind of what's kind of hitting you at that moment then, once you've kind of gotten back to ACLs, is starting to look like things are on the up, and then you do your hip flexor, like what are you feeling then?
Yeah, I was pretty head lost, to be honest, at first. Like I had a contract on the table actually, ready to sign and everything, and then that day in training did my hip flexor. So they didn't end up signing because my hip flexor didn't want to sign someone that's going to be out for a few months again. So it was tough. I ended up coming back home to Canada, get my rehab done. But again, like I feel even stronger than before. So I feel 100% now. So
good. Yeah, no, I didn't. Yeah, I did not know that you had done your hip. That, oh man, that I could only imagine just working that, and then you have the contract there, and then of course you're training and it happens. But at least you got to come back to Canada, rehab it, and like you said, now you're feeling even better. So, and then coming back from these injuries, then do you feel like you have something to prove coming into Forge now?
For sure. Like I've obviously been out for a while now. So I almost feel like a lot of clubs and just in general, people watching me play have not like seen me play in a while. So I feel like I have a point to prove on what I'm capable of and what I can just show.
Yeah. And then we already kind of touched upon this, but making your return to the pro game, stepping foot on that pitch in Hamilton on an extremely cold night. I was there. It was freezing.
Yeah.
What's going through your head? What's going, like, really just what are you feeling during the game and then post game?
Oh, it was a really good feeling. Like, it's just a bit back on the field and also play with the boys, like being in the preseason, like in Mexico, and like doing games and stuff, but like a proper game against a good opponent. And it was a really good feeling, especially as well with all coming back from the injuries too. It just added it on top.
Yeah, and especially coming into a pretty high profile match against Monterrey in the Champions Cup. And I mean, you're no stranger playing against massive clubs as it is, Rangers, Celtic, Aberdeen. So getting to come back and play against another extremely high level opponent, does that kind of make you feel like, okay, I'm kind of like not even selling back into this, but kind of being thrown back into this?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's funny as you say that because actually my first game for Ross County was against Rangers.
Oh, really?
I was kind of thrown in there. I've always been a center mid as well, and I had to kind of fill in at left back.
Yeah,
It's like kind of been just thrown in the deep end, but yeah, I guess you can't ask for a better opponent in like Monterrey as well as for like first game.
No, seriously,
Yeah.
especially against some quality players as well. I mean, Ramos wasn't playing on the day, but they have Sergio Ramos. They have Oliver Torres. So like some very high class players that have been here and done that kind of thing.
Yeah,
and then,
you can tell. Yeah,
yeah, no, seriously. And once the freezing cold, I'm sure just doesn't feel good.
Yeah, it was crazy. The first leg is like minus like 10, and the second leg is like 26 degrees.
Yeah, I know. We were watching the second leg here. And I was like, yeah, that's a lot different than the first leg where it's freezing cold, might have been snowing, and then now it's sunny, beautiful, probably hitting the beach before or after the game, you know?
Yeah.
And then what would you say are some of the biggest differences between the Scottish playing style and the Canadian playing style?
I'd say like the Scottish playing style I have noticed is like it's very just kind of like end to end, like constant, like just like attacks where like over here in Canada, it's kind of more like, in a way, tactical, but it's just kind of like a slower, like steady pace. Like, like you kind of go forward, and then you also like bide your time, and then create chances like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's different in like good ways, and I'm enjoying it so far.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I was just, especially because you've been in Europe for so long and then coming back to Canada, I was just curious if like you had noticed instantly if there was any changes, any differences, sorry, between the two. And do you think it's interesting to see how many Canadians have kind of now done well in Scotland? You know, obviously yourself, your brother, then you have like guys like Alistair Johnston, Junior Hoylett, Theo Bear. Do you think it's interesting to kind of see so many Canadians getting to go over there and succeed?
Yeah, it's good to hear, like, you know, when you see all the good like players in Canada like playing in the top flight in Scotland it's good to hear, and it's also a good feeling knowing that you were there as well.
Yeah.
Playing, and like I know Theo quite well with my brother was at Montreal as well, so yeah, he's a good guy, and I'm happy like that they're all like thriving in the Scottish Premier League.
Yeah, no, I absolutely like love watching Theo Bear. He's so good. But yeah, no, I just think it's like really cool that it's funny to me how like some leagues just seem to pick up a lot of Canadians. Like now the French league is kind of starting to do it.
Yeah, it seems like it's the French league now.
Yeah. So it's just kind of funny to like see it, and like you said, getting to be a part of that too, you and your brother, which is still just so cool. Is like that's got to be like pretty fulfilling, right? Like being like I got to be a part of that, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then, of course, being back in Canada for such a monumental time for Canadian soccer, CPL, of course, thriving, potential expansion on the way, the NSL starting up, MLS teams back in action, and a World Cup here next year. How great is it to kind of get to be a part of that and be here during this time?
Yeah, it's a great feeling. I feel like Canada soccer is definitely on the up. You know, the national team's doing really well, and just the league in general, the CPL. I feel like it's growing. Like. Is more well known around the world. Like there's teams in Europe that are looking at players in the CPL.
Yeah.
So I feel like it is definitely on the up, and it's a good feeling to be a part of it for sure.
Absolutely. And how proud are you to see the game in such a different place in 2025 now compared to when you left back in 2017?
Yeah, it's been crazy. Like Canada getting into the World Cup. Like I feel like before it was kind of like never really had a chance like to get even close to the World Cup. So it's a great feeling to
Yeah.
see Canada doing really well.
Yeah, I know. And be like us not only now being in the World Cup back in 2022, but now getting to host it, I feel like
Yeah,
definitely shows how far the program's coming. I know 7 years feels like a lot, but it's really
it's,
not in the grand
yeah,
scheme
yeah,
of things, you know?
yeah.
And then just kind of switching up just real quick. In a past interview, you spoke about how important diet is to give you an extra edge on your opponent, and you say that you've never had a McDonald's or even a fizzy drink. I want to know if that's still true or not.
Yeah, I've still never had a McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah, my friends always joke around it. They always try to like force me like a McFlurry or something, but
Yeah.
I've never had one. So
Awesome.
it's funny.
No, I know. I just saw that. I was like, wonder if that's still true. Yeah.
Everyone thinks it's crazy. I don't know. I just never had it growing up, so I've never
Yeah.
just
Never
craved it.
feel the need, right?
Yeah, yeah,
No, that's fair. I mean, you're better off. It's you're not really missing much, honestly.
yeah.
But then, okay, do you have Tim Hortons ever? Because now that you're in Hamilton, like you
Yeah,
have
I
to
can't
have
go
had
wrong
Tim
with it.
Hortons.
I can't go wrong with the Tim Hortons. That's
Okay.
typically Canadian. Yeah.
What's your go-to Tim Hortons order?
At the moment, it's gotta be one of those like French vanillas.
Okay.
They're so good. Yeah, especially on the drives home, like from training.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair. Got to get the typical Hamiltonian Canadian kind of thing. Have to get your
Yeah.
Tim Hortons on the way home. I get it. And then you already touched upon this a little bit. What would you say is your most effective position on the pitch, as you can play left back, left mid, and central mid?
Yeah, it's a tough question. Like I've been able to play kind of everywhere. I know in Scotland, I was playing quite a lot at left back, and
Mhm.
I feel like I've done really well actually there. I think like leading up to my ACL, I was playing like center mid, getting like regular match time, and then obviously got injured. I feel
Yeah.
so it's a tough one. I've always said like probably center mid because that's kind of where I've played through the youth career, all of Blackburn center mid. But I guess it is a good like being able to play multiple positions.
Yeah.
Makes it a bit easier to get into the team, stuff like that. So I don't know. It's a tough one. I guess I'll leave it to the manager to decide. But
Fair.
as long as I'm on the field, I'm not too bothered.
Yeah. And it makes you quite versatile too, like getting to be both a left back and then a midfielder as well. I feel like it adds a lot to your game. Would you kind of agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then who's a player that you looked up to, that you try to model your game after as a midfielder or a left back?
Yeah, I've growing up, I always actually really watched Frank Lampard. He was always my idol growing up,
Really?
and then because I've always been a Chelsea supporter, and then it was kind of like Juan Mata out of phase. So I'd say probably those two were my favorite.
Well, I've got to be honest, you just won me over there. I'm a Chelsea fan as well.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So, and I used to have like Frank Lampard jerseys and everything, so I definitely get that.
And Hazard as well. You can't go
Oh
wrong
my
with him,
gosh. I'll derail this interview if we start talking Chelsea, because
yeah.
I love Ian Hazard. That was my guy. I loved him, man.
Yeah, he was so good.
He was the best. And before we derail the interview with talking more about Chelsea, how do you adapt your game differently to each position, like compared to left back and then center mid?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like during the week, if you kind of know on the Saturday that you might be playing like a left back or center mid, I kind of really focus on getting the positioning and like tactical work done, as well as just like video and stuff. Like if I was playing like for example Celtic and I knew I was playing left back that game, I kind of study the winners, see kind of what he likes. If he likes to like take it down the line, cut inside. Just stuff like that, just to kind of prepare for the game on the weekend.
Yeah, no, because especially because center mid and left back are just so like they're just so different. I just wondered if you would have to like study a lot of different things, and obviously you would.
Yeah.
And then kind of moving into more stuff with Forge. Once you get in contact with Forge and things get made official, what's that first feeling of that hard work paying off in your road to recovery once you've signed that contract with Forge?
Yeah, it was a really good feeling, being out for so long. But I feel like obviously I've done all the hard work to get to the point of signing the contract, but I know that there's still like a lot of hard work to go. to trying to just prove what I'm capable of still. So I feel like, yeah, it was a really good feeling, but I'm ready to work hard and show what I'm capable of for sure.
Yeah. And what really excited you most about the Forge project?
I just like, well, you can't lie with all the trophies they have and the success they've had, and the manager's been really good, very welcoming, and all the staff and players. So I like, it's close to my home. It's only like, I'm from Waterloo, so it's only like an hour away, as well. So like it just seemed like the right fit for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that was my next question was you're kind of obviously like Waterloo, but Hamilton's kind of the closest pro team. What's it kind of like to now get to play in front of a home-ish professional club?
Yeah, it's really nice. Like even just like my family, like they've obviously come over to visit and watch a few games, but it's a lot easier for them to come to all the games as well, and just like, and my friends too. Like I've never had anyone like my friends be able to come to my games in Scotland, so it would be nice if I can actually get them some tickets to come watch me play.
Yeah,
and as well as see like some home support in Canada as well.
Yeah, no, especially like with the Barton Street Battalion as well. Like they're extremely passionate fans, and now getting to play now for the first time in front of a lot of close friends and family. Does that kind of change how you want to like play, or is it still just like strictly like, no, I have to go out there like just all business kind of thing, and then we'll talk after kind of thing?
Yeah, just all business, and then I'm like a different person on the field, and then once I'm off, then it's then we can have a chat, I guess.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
And then, is it a coincidence, or is it a little nod to your brother that you're wearing the number 6 at Forge, which is the same number he wore during your time together at Ross County?
Kind of, yeah. Like I've always liked the number 6. Like it's kind of like the center mid role number.
Yeah.
And as well, yeah, I guess, yeah. I actually didn't even realize, to be honest, that which is pretty. I should know that, but yeah, I guess, yeah, a little bit, I guess, to him as well.
Yeah, no, fair. I was like, it probably is a coincidence, but I was like, I think I was wondering if it was like, because I saw the picture on yours or his Instagram of you guys holding your jerseys up, and he was 6 and you were 24, I think.
Yeah.
And
he'll probably say I'm copying him now.
yeah. It's not too late to change the number. I mean, then he won't say you're copying him.
Yeah, that's true.
And then, sorry. What do you look forward to most about playing for Forge?
Honestly, I'm just really excited to get playing like actual matches again. After being out for so long, I've done like loads of training, but like not actual proper matches. So I just say like just competitive games. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. And then kind of the season starts in 3 weeks, I believe, as of recording this. What are they what's the overall feeling and expectation for this season ahead?
Yeah, like with Forge, like they're always striving to win everything. So
yeah,
the work's been really good in training through like this little preseason leading up to the first game. But yeah, we're aiming to try and go on being if we can. Like that's the main goal. Like try and win everything.
Yeah. And sorry, what's kind of something that you personally like it doesn't have to be a trophy, doesn't have to be what's something that you personally want to get out of this season ahead?
For me, it's just like I'd say like games, like continuous, try and get as many games as I can, playing like where I know I'm capable of.
Yeah.
As well, like, yeah, I can't go wrong. Like with winning a few trophies wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I mean, like wanting to win a few trophies. I mean, you have come to the right club if you want to do that in the CPL, of course. 4 times they've won the playoffs, twice have won the league. Do you kind of feel that in the locker room of just you're in around like a lot of winners, of course, guys like Kyle Becker, Hajabapur, Borges, and a lot of other guys who have been around Forge for a while. Do you feel that winning mentality?
Yeah, for sure. Like a lot of the boys are still here that have won. in previous years, and you can tell that they, know what it takes to win. Even just with the lead up to the Monterey games, the preparation and everything's just intense. Like everything has to be perfect. So for sure, like you can tell that there's a winning mentality here at Forge.
Yeah. And do you think that kind of helps you want to up your level as well, to be like, okay, like I'm around a bunch of guys that want to win? Do you think that helps you kind of up your level to want to be even like on the next level and be better?
Yeah, for sure. Like I know for me, like I always strive to try and be the best on the field every time I step on the field. So I feel like, yeah, it does help knowing that all the boys are giving it their all. But for me, I always just try to do it no matter who I'm playing with.
Fair. And then one final question for you. What do you want the Forge faithful to know about you heading into this new season?
I think I just want them to know that I'm there to compete, and that I'll give everything for the club. I'll try and, win some trophies on the way. And yeah, I want to be able to show them what I'm capable of.
Yeah. And I think that kind of all speaks to how hard you've worked to get to this point now, and coming off of those injuries, and now getting to be back playing pro in front of a home-ish team. I think that kind of all speaks to it. So I wish you absolutely nothing but the best of luck in this upcoming season. And if you want to let everyone know where they can follow your journey and everything, if you want to do that.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Yeah, I guess probably my Instagram maybe would be the best way. My Instagram is just my name, Ben_Paton. But yeah, thanks so much for the interview.
Yeah, thank you. And I appreciate you once again for doing this. And once again, nothing but the absolute best of luck to you and for going into this new season.
Yeah, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. So yes, that was the interview with Ben Paton. Once again, just a massive, massive thank you to him for setting aside that time and for Forge for allowing us to do that. It was genuinely so much fun. I absolutely loved doing it. Wishing him and Forge, of course, nothing but the absolute best in this upcoming season, which kicks off on April 5th. If you are from Hamilton, definitely I would recommend seeing the game in person. I'm sure it'll be great. It'll be against one of Forge's biggest rival in Cavalry. If you are not from Hamilton, maybe you're from Toronto, maybe you're from Halifax, or Vancouver, wherever you're from, I would highly recommend supporting your local CPL team. I don't think you'll regret it. It's a lot of fun. And yes, follow along on all the socials, Sam Little 44 and Maple Footy Pod, for any and all updates. And once again, massive thank you to Ben Paton and Forge, and a massive thank you to you for listening to this. So yes, until next time, cheers everyone.
And that was your Maple Footy Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Check my socials for any and all future updates. Remember to support Canadian football, be kind, and until next time, live, laugh, little.